22 days and 4 games into the 25-26 season, and Man United is already in a meltdown. I just love this game. The fans, the media, and everyone else is already calling for Amorim to get the sack. People are blaming the system, saying that the back three will never work at United. It's not part of our DNA, and the Premier League is just not the Portuguese league, and so on and so forth. So I'm just sick of all of it because there's a whole lot of yapping and not a whole lot of cogent analysis behind it. After a 313-day hiatus from the channel, I'm back here to tell you guys exactly what's going wrong with Amorim's United and why it seems like we keep taking 2 steps back before taking 1 step forward. Let's get straight into it. Now, United just got embarrassed out of the League Cup by Grimsby Town, and we've all been coping with this nightmare for the last 12 days. But I actually went back to rewatch that game, and I found evidence of something that United has been guilty of since Ollie's last season in charge in 21-22. So let's take a look at the first goal that Grimsby scored in the 22nd minute of that game and see what we can understand as some of the problems that are going on right now. So here we have Amad Diallo on the ball trying to control it with his back to sort of goal here and trying to move towards our goal. You can see Cunha next to him in the left side at 10. You can see Diallo on the far right hand side pushing up in an attacking position. And Grimsby is pretty much in a set defensive position here. Now, as we go forward a few seconds, Diallo actually takes a loose touch and Grimsby midfielder Kieran Green comes tight to him. And Ugarte rushes in to try to stop him from doing that. But in this action, Diallo ends up tackling Ugarte to the ground and the ball is set free in this direction. As soon as that happens, the United backline is now fully exposed, and within a few seconds you see Grimsby having a 6v5 against United. So you have 6 Grimsby players against just 5 United players in the middle here. Heaven and Maguire are left 1v1 against 2 forwards. 20-year-old Tyler Fredrickson is literally marking an acre of space on the right-hand side over here. And Menu and Diallo are trying to cover the midfield spaces because Ugarte is still lying on the floor near the center circle. So now that Burns plays that crossfield ball to Vernam on the left wing, Vernam has so much space that even a 4th division mid-table winger, with all due respect to him, has the time to take it down and strike it first and strike a volley straight into the goal. Just look at the lack of defensive organization here. We have 4 players in the box, all in central spaces, defending against 5 Grimsby players. And even if Vernam's shot was somehow saved by Onana, I know, it's possible. Even if he saved it and maybe parried it towards this side, I think number 5 from Grimsby could easily come in and tap it in. So from a defensive perspective in this specific play, I think this is 80 to 90% Ugarte's fault. Because if we go back here to the first screenshot, you see that Diallo is already high up the pitch in the attacking phase, which means one of Ugarte or Fredrickson has to provide cover on the right wing for the spot that Diallo has vacated. And instead of sensing that potential danger, especially when a young kid like Fredrickson is behind you, Ugarte lunges into this tackle right here. And we end up with this situation where Fredrickson has to cover 3 Grimsby players near his box. So even if he gets dragged out into this guy here, he leaves space for one of these 2 to run in, and that guy can just play the ball behind him. And he's kind of in a lose-lose position. So other than crucifying Ugarte for his lack of defensive awareness, I want to focus on the larger problem at hand, which is the first C that's holding back this team: composure. United seem surprised or even shocked when the opposition wins the ball, especially when we're in the attacking phases. And this is despite us being notoriously bad in possession for the last 9 years or so since Van Gaal left. We don't seem to have any composure in possession, so we end up making rash decisions. whether that's Amad in this situation failing to keep control of the ball in midfield, or it's Ugarte jumping into a tackle near the center circle and getting tackled by Ahmad, even though he knows we only have Fredrickson for cover behind him. It's decisions like that that leave us completely open at the back and often in a numbers disadvantage, which naturally leads to our center backs having to do way too much by themselves, as you can see from what Heaven, Maguire, and Fredrickson have to do in this situation. And I know it sounds crazy to say this, but United's squad actually has a top 4 defense. We have 6 Premier League quality center backs for 3 positions in Maguire and De Ligt, Yarrow and Heaven, and Shaw and Martinez. Arsenal and Liverpool have better quality starting center backs, but I feel like we have a much better squad depth in the center back department than Liverpool, and perhaps we're at par with Arsenal because they have like 10 center backs. What the United team struggles with is consistently putting our defense in bad situations. Arsenal, Liverpool, Chelsea, all of these other teams give their defenses a better opportunity to succeed. And because we keep doing that, it takes us into the second C that's holding back this team, and that's confidence. Let's now take a look at the first disallowed goal that Grimsby scored against us. This was the double ricochet handball that happened in the 29th minute of the game. Now in this situation, Fredrickson, I believe, has stepped out from center back and loses the ball right here. And I want you guys to pay attention to how many players we actually have forward. Diallo is on the right wing, vacating his right 10 spot and swapping with Dallo, who's now in his position. Fredrickson is in the central 10 spot, who stepped out from center back. Šeško is playing the striker where he's supposed to be. Cunha's also where he's supposed to be. And we have Mainu, who's slightly stepped up from his center midfield spot into this position here. Now, there's nothing inherently wrong with having a center back join the attack or having your wing back and right 10 swap positions, or even midfielder jumping in from their spot. But with United, we seem to be doing this a lot more than most other teams I watch in the Premier League. And my best guess for why this happens is that we have no confidence in our attack or our attacking play. Let me show you guys what I'm talking about by looking at a tactics board. So this is our quote-unquote best starting 11 with Dorgu and Ahmad as the wingbacks, Cunha and Mbeumo as the 10s, and Šeško as the striker. Whenever we're playing against a set defensive structure, as in the opposing team is into their defensive positions, we're not very effective at creating or taking our chances. Taking a look at the various attacking triangles that can form between the midfield, wingback, and our attackers, you have Dorgu, Cunha, and Fernandez here, you have Mbeumo, Ahmad, and Casemiro here, and then you have Šeško with any combination, any 2 other players on the field on the attacking side. But this season under Amorim, we've actually been really good at creating chances, as you can see here. We're far and away the best in terms of shots per game, almost 5 shots higher than Chelsea and Bournemouth, who are in second. We're tied for the number of shots on target, as you can see here, right? We're tied with Chelsea, West Ham, and us. We're also the 6th best in terms of average possession per game, and we're the 2nd best in terms of expected goals. Where we have not changed from our previous seasons under other managers is that we're still really bad at taking our chances. Our XG differential is actually -5, which is almost twice as bad as the next team in Aston Villa. And United have actually scored only 2 goals. That's right, we have 4 goals in the league. 2 of them have been own goals, and one of the 2 we've scored has been a penalty. So the Dallo cutback to Mbeumo against Burnley was the only goal we've scored from open play in 3 Premier League games. You compare that to every other team that has scored more goals than us this season, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Let's take a look here. Liverpool has a 3.67 XG, and they've scored 8 goals out of it. So they're overperforming their XG by 4.5 goals almost, which means they've been taking all of their chances and all of their half chances. Chelsea are pretty much scoring everything they should be scoring, as you can see here. And then you have Arsenal, Sunderland, Tottenham, and Everton all pretty much just overperforming their XG by taking almost half as many shots as we have, right? We've taken about 58 shots this season, where you can see here, 58. And these four teams from Arsenal to Everton have taken about an average of 30 each. So the conclusion I can draw from this is that if we take our chances like Chelsea have done this season, we'd have probably scored 7 goals in 3 games, which is in addition to the 2 own goals, because the own goals don't count towards your XG. But if we were instead on a purple patch like Liverpool, we'd probably be on 10 or 12 goals. And for all intents and purposes, that would put us top of the league. Now, I know the league doesn't function on ifs, buts, and maybes, but I'm not saying we should be top of the league. I'm just saying if we take the chances that we're actually creating, not only would we win more games moving forward, but we will also start conceding fewer goals. Now, going back to the tactical board, let me explain exactly what I'm talking about. When we go through Amorim's pattern of build-up and create the first chance, that's generally coming from one side or the other, right? Let's say Dorgu, Cunha, and Fernandes are cooking something up on the right-hand side. You'll have Dorgu probably doing the overlap and Cunha providing this type of run, and then Fernandes stepping into this position. Let's say the ball is then put into the box and maybe Šeško misses a chance or he shoots it at the goalkeeper, and somehow Mbeumo and Ahmad are stepping up and they win the ball back on the right-hand side. Now the ball gets recycled, maybe goes back to Casemiro, Fernandes comes back into position, Cunha's coming back a little bit, and Dorgu's coming back as well. We're trying to get back into our original shape, but maybe we're a little bit out of shape because we're trying to reset. And so Shaw's maybe stepped up a little bit as well. In this situation, let's say we manage to create a second chance, which again, we've been doing a lot of that this season. Second chance comes in from this side now, and we see Ahmad coming inside and Mbeumo going outside. And then again, the ball comes into Šeško or Ahmad takes a shot, and this time we end up losing the ball. In this situation, we now have all of our attackers, our wing backs, and at least one of our midfielders, let's say if it's coming from this side, Casemiro, is also out of position, which means we have Fernandes running back, Shaw, De Ligt, and Yoro running back before other players from the other team who have been soaking up all the pressure, also ready to go on the counterattack. So we're setting ourselves up to fail because we keep failing in the attacking phases. Every time we create a chance and we don't take it, the ball doesn't reset to the center circle, which means we have to now react to the other team going for an easy counterattack against our back line. In exactly the same situation for Liverpool, Salah or Gakpo or Ekitike will just take the first or second or third chance that they create, and the game just resets to kickoff for the other team. Chelsea, Man City, Arsenal all benefit from taking their chances in exactly the same way. In United's case, our lack of confidence in our finishing ability leads to overcommitment from our midfielders and our wingbacks and our attackers, and that leads to a lack of composure in midfield, which then leads to easy counterattacks like we just discussed. And I've been seeing this over and over again for the last 4 seasons. We're always shit in the final third and we don't take our chances. We always make a mistake on the ball in the final third or in midfield, and then the other team always slices through us like a knife through butter. The big difference this season, though, is that Amorim's system is actually creating tons of chances, and they're against some decent teams. So I know it's very early on in the season, and we're yet to see this on a consistent basis to actually believe that this is real change and real progress. But the early signs are super promising. If we keep creating chances at the same pace and we start taking our chances like other teams are, we will be very good very soon. As soon as our confidence improves in front of goal, our composure in midfield and defense will follow suit. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Do you agree with this perspective on the current United team? Are you as optimistic as I am? Of course, given a lot of conditions still hold true. Let me know in the comments. Okay, so for those of you that are still watching, I want to share a little bit about my absence from the channel. I know I've been gone for almost a year, and I owe you guys an apology. You see, there are two big reasons that I kind of stopped making content. The first and most important one is I felt like I just wasn't enjoying the sport anymore, especially the tail end of football under Amorim. I felt like we were just going into games knowing that we were going to lose and not see a good performance. Even against teams like West Ham and Everton, that we definitely had the better team to put something out there. But what really turned me off the sport was the off the field noise and everything just being very toxic and negative, and I felt like I didn't want to be part of it anymore. And I know that sounds like a soft excuse, but for someone that's running a one-man show, putting in 8 to 10 hours per video, it is exhausting to watch your favorite club turn into a pantomime. The second reason, and perhaps this provides a bit more context, YouTube just started cracking down on the type of content that I was creating. I got a copyright strike for some footage I used on one of my videos, which was super disheartening because I worked so hard to really add value to the game footage. I wasn't just showing the videos. It was 2 seconds at a time. I was just really, creating value on top of what the footage was exactly. But it was still perceived as me stealing content, and I know YouTube has all the power, so there's not much I can do there. But it started to feel like there was no avenue for me to grow the channel in the way that I wanted to grow it, in the types of videos I wanted to create. So I just kind of left things hanging there. But that's no excuse for you guys. You've shown me a ton of love over the 18 months or so that I was creating content, and you guys deserve better. I should have made this clear at the end of the year, at least whatever explanation I had back then. And for that, I'm sorry. I am not sure if I'm back yet to making content full time. I definitely won't be using any video footage anymore on the channel, but I'll be much more clear with my communication moving forward so that you guys know exactly what to expect. So thank you for watching, and stay tuned for more. And in other good news, at least we can celebrate Onana leaving United, even though it's just for this season. But anyways, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.